Welcome into the Michigan Football Report. I am your host, James Yoder, with the man, the myth, the legend, Michigan football historian Tom Yoder. After a really disappointing last, few minutes of that game, I thought this was going to be a historic comeback, a program-turning change for Jim Harbaugh. We're going to get into it. Let's take a look at the scoreboard here momentarily. But, Tom, your just instant takeaway on this game in a couple words.
Hugely disappointing, James. Michigan dominated the game, time of possession, statistics. There was about 15 minutes of that ball game from the middle of the first to the middle of the second quarter.
Yeah.
That Michigan just made a lot of mistakes, and Penn State made big plays, and that was the game, in addition to the big play Penn State had in the second half. Yeah,
28-21. Michigan loses the game, and we are going to get into it. We've got your questions, so use hashtag Michigan. We're going to take live Q&A for Michigan's 28-21 loss to Penn State. Game just ended. We're going to get going here. We've got our takeaways, our Michigan football grades, so use hashtag Michigan to get your questions answered on air, and our staff will get to that here momentarily. How are we looking behind the camera, Dylan? We got the one-word reaction coming up. Push that up there. One-word reaction, folks, watching here on Facebook, watching here on YouTube. I want to know from you guys what your one-word reaction is to this, just disappointing loss. We're going to be taking your questions, like I said, all show long. So give me your one-word reaction. I'm going to pull that up, see what you guys are thinking, and we're going to start going through the show, hear what your grades are, all that good stuff. I thought Shea Patterson played a good game. I thought Josh Gattis called a good game. I thought certainly didn't think that the wide receivers played a good game, and the defense played really poorly kind of in the middle of the first quarter to the end of the first half. So give me your one-word reaction. We're going to take questions, Dylan. Is that what we're going to do? We got producer Dylan behind the camera taking your questions. So we'll get those up first. So keep them going. If you use the hashtag Michigan, it pops right to the top of Dylan's screen. He can push it on the screen for us to see. And Mr. Tom Yoder, Michigan football historian, we can take these questions live for you on air. Michigan Football Report. Sit up straight, Tom Yoder. We're looking good. We're going to get to it going. Use hashtag Michigan to get the questions featured on the show. Dylan, start tossing the questions up. It doesn't really matter what they are if they've used hashtag Michigan yet. Let's get into these questions. We're going to just see what you guys think. See what the reaction is from the Michigan Football Report audience here live post-game. The Wolverines lose to Penn State, which could have been the defining turnaround game in Jim Harbaugh's career. So Trey Stoneking, thanks so much for the question. The Michigan streak of no 100-yard receiver. I've lost count, Trey. I think it's 34
34
Tom.
games, James.
What's your thoughts on that, Big T?
James, it's astounding in this day and age of college football that you can go 34 ball games with a quarterback like Shea Patterson and 3 or 4 wide receivers that are going to play on Sunday and not get a 100-yard receiver.
Yes. Astounding, right? Like, how does it happen? How does Michigan not be able to put the ball in the hands of a wide receiver? How can Michigan continue to have an offense that doesn't look like it belongs in this generation? But I thought the offense looked pretty good today. So the streak continues, Trey. We'll keep taking the questions. YouTube, Facebook Live. Get the questions in. Use hashtag Michigan. And Dylan, let's not forget these Facebook Live people. They're coming heavy with the questions. Want to make sure that you guys are getting these questions in. We got a question coming from Joel Richardson. Remember, Mr. Yoder, the bottom of the screen is what's coming. The top is what's on. Michigan is cursed. Prove me wrong. I mean, look, I thought Shea Patterson played great today. I thought Josh Gattis played great today. And make sure we're looking dead center here. I thought Shea Patterson played good. I thought Josh Gattis had a good game plan. Is Michigan cursed, Tom? Is Michigan cursed like Joel Richardson said?
Michigan is not cursed, James. It's football's blocking, tackling, and scoring more points than the other team.
Yeah.
Penn State made a few big plays today. We had our chances to make big plays, and we not only did make the big plays as often as Penn State did, we shot ourselves in the foot too many times in this ball game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Michigan not cursed. They got Jim Harbaugh as their coach, but boy, it took a long time to get things going together. Shot themselves in the foot, like Tom said, way too many times in the first half specifically. Dominated the possessions. And when we get the stats up and everything like that, the stats and research team, there's hundreds of people putting together the stats behind us, so we know that you guys can wait a few minutes. But nevertheless, Michigan dominated the time of possession in the first half, 20 minutes to 10. That one turnover by Shea Patterson, but Donovan Peoples-Jones, four drops in the first half and a few others. So let's take this question from Harris Emilio. Tough loss, but I saw some promise. Same here. I really did, Harris. Play calling naturally opens up when we were down. We watched the first game at home. Mr. Tom Yoder is in town from Akron, Ohio for my son Preston's third birthday tomorrow. And you saw what I saw. We said, hey, worst case scenario, they're down 21-0. What happens? They've got to open the offense up now. Harbaugh can't say run it here when they're down 21, right? So force them to open it up, Tom. What are your thoughts?
James, I actually think that the offense was opened up to start the game. I saw Josh Gattis call a different game than we've seen all year, and because of that, I saw a much more confident Shea Patterson executing the offense. Unfortunately, his receivers took away some of that confidence by dropping balls they shouldn't have.
We're going to have to get you to pop a joke here, T. You tell you're a little stiff, but that's okay. Tough play calling, tough loss. I saw some positives in that play calling, Harris. I really appreciate the question. Harris watching us on YouTube. We see the stream over here, T. We see the Facebook stream right here on this computer. I'll pull it up on my phone as well, so we've got all of the streams rocking and rolling. So, keep it moving, Dylan. Waterboy Dre says, Michigan. Do you think this loss gives the offense confidence? I think it does. Tom, what's your thoughts?
I don't know that you get confidence from a loss. I think there was a lot of positives in the offense today, despite the result. And I think if they continue to play like this and we continue to call plays like this, things can only get better. There were a lot of positives out there today on the offense despite the loss.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective here, looking at the schedule for going into Notre Dame next week, I actually think Michigan has a chance next week versus Notre Dame. I think Shea Patterson played good today. Dylan, toss those bad boys up there. These aren't terrible stats. You throw 41 times, I'm happy about that. T, your thoughts on Shea Patterson taking a look at these stats? Like, let's just take people a look at it. This is a good game. I know he didn't have a touchdown. He had one rushing, that fourth down play. But what are your thoughts on Shea's performance?
Without the drops, James, he's probably at 70+%, which is incredible. He probably would have had his 300-yard game.
Yep.
Without a doubt. We might have had that 100-yard receiver.
Yep.
It's just a shame that we can't put everything together in a ball game. We had, again, Josh Gattis. You've been a little tough on him this year, maybe deservedly so. I thought he did a phenomenal job today. The one thing that we've seen from Michigan over the last year or couple of years is getting beat over the middle, and we can't make plays over the middle. That was completely reversed today. We made numerous plays over the middle on offense, and very seldom did the quarterback run up the middle successfully, and or were they able to run those crossing routes that have burned us so badly.
Yeah, we've got questions coming in from Facebook, questions coming in from YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys. We did it. We didn't have to make the channel private. You guys came through. We hit 5,000 with flying colors by the October 10th deadline. So now keep growing the channel, Michigan Football Report, the number one show for Michigan football on podcast, on Facebook Live, on YouTube. So help us grow. YouTube is our biggest priority in the 2019 season. Link below to subscribe, youtube.com/Michigan TV. Got a question coming in from Facebook Live. Christopher Cunningham says, how are we going to beat MSU, OSU, or Notre Dame? Look, I'm mad Michigan lost this game. I was excited that this is going to be a 21-0 comeback win, a Jim Harbaugh turnaround game. I thought this team early on, we're sitting there watching with some family members, and I think we both said to ourselves, this team's about to fall apart. They've got no confidence.
Yep.
What happened? Confidence, right? Confidence came out, and I think that goes into next week, don't you?
Absolutely, James. There's absolutely no reason that we cannot beat Notre Dame, Michigan State. If we play like we did today, we beat them by 3 touchdowns. And at home, I like our chances against Ohio State, despite the fact that it's going to be a big challenge.
Yeah, sure. And so, I mean, look at the stats here, right? You get 21 points, but 417 yards of total offense on the road, right? 417 yards of total offense on the road. Penn State, whiteout name. These are numbers that Ohio State puts up. 276 passing, 141 rushing, dominated time possession. I thought the offensive game plan was the best of the season by far, and maybe the best going back to, on the road. I don't even know when you've had a game plan this good for Jim Harbaugh. It didn't turn into points early on because you had at least six drops that I saw in the first half. 4 from DPJ. 1 from Nico Collins, 1 from Tariq Black, and you saw what was the end of the game. The game came down to potentially a very difficult catch drop from Ronnie Bell there at the end of the game. So drops with a big impact. Is that the difference in the game here? It seems like it.
James, absolutely. The drops and the inopportune penalties.
Yeah.
When you get your hands on the ball, you catch it. That's the rule in football. And you could say, well, if we got 5 out of those 7, that's okay. We dropped 2 of them, but you can't drop all the ones, especially the last one in the end zone. I mean, you just have to make that play. Penn State needed a big play about 4 or 5 times today, and they got it every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Their quarterback threaded the needle.
Yep, agree. So take a look at Penn State's stats. Only 283 yards of offense. 182 yards passing, 101 yards rushing. I don't know, but watching this game and to the stat sheets, it felt like Penn State was getting a lot of yards. But when you look at it, Michigan dominated in every facet of the game except the scoreboard. I put it on Twitter, that DBJ drop on that Shea rollout on the second drive, I think it was, the first drive, second drive, where he dropped that pass, that was a devastating play. Michigan doesn't go down 21-0. If he catches that, Michigan puts the ball in the end zone after that.
Absolutely, James.
Yep. So keep it rolling here. Allen and Kleeh, safeties cannot cover their best receiver. Defense, Tom, you watched the defense today. What were your thoughts for these, specifically the safeties?
Don't understand how we have guys like Josh Uche and our other safety, and not Daxton Hill on KJ Hamler.
Well, why was Uche? We saw him on Hamler multiple times, at least 3 times in the game, right?
Absolutely, and I think 1 or 2 touchdowns. I mean, it was him and Metellus, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just absolutely no way you've got a super fast guy in Daxton Hill. I mean, what do you have to lose?
Take a look at these stats, T. What do you see from these guys? Brad Hawkins, Ambry Thomas, Vincent Gray.
Brad Hawkins, I thought, had a pretty good game, and I also thought Ambry Thomas had a good game. Vincent Gray wasn't as obvious to me, but he had 4 tackles. I thought the defense had tremendous effort. Uche played well, in his typical role rushing. Hutch had a fantastic game. I thought a lot of great effort. The defensive line played well. Unfortunately, as I said, we needed a big play at the end of the game, and I feel like if we'd have gotten it, we would have scored and we'd have gone to overtime. And we didn't get it. They gave the ball to a guy that's, 160, 70 pounds, and he ran it up the middle against us for 3 or 4 yards. And, and we've proven this year we can get a yard or 2 when we need it in a situation. We were very lucky to get the Shea touchdown. So, but other than that, James, I thought the defense played well with the exception of the big plays. But the big plays were all points, and you win the game with points.
Yep, let's take a question here, Tom. Jacob Thompson coming in from Facebook Live. Michigan sounds like I keep saying hashtag Michigan. Say, James, don't say the hashtag Michigan. It sounds like excuses, not prepared. That's on Harbaugh. We both flipped out. They come out, first damn play of the game, Michigan gets delay a game, but the Harbaugh calls a timeout right beforehand. He was mad, but how does that happen? And then you come out in the second half, and you give up a 100-yard kickoff return touchdown that gets called back. So you get lucky in both those plays, timeout and that. But what's your thoughts there?
Even on the kickoff return, James, we still had the bench penalty. I mean, the lack of discipline. I'm a huge Jim Harbaugh fan.
Yep.
Always have been. I am perplexed.
Well, let me ask you this question then. Should Michigan fire Jim Harbaugh? I want to answer for the question here in the audience. Should Michigan fire Jim Harbaugh? 0-7 on the road against top 20 teams. 1-7 on the road against top 25 teams. Only win coming last year against a 7-6 Michigan State team on Preston's birthday. 21-7 was the score last year. They were number 24 at the time. Should Michigan fire Jim Harbaugh? Because what I see right now is it's 8-4 is as very likely, don't you think? 8-4 is very likely. T, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think we can be 9-3. I think Ohio State's a challenge. We don't know who we're going to get in the bowl game. As far as firing Harbaugh, I guess that's above my pay grade. I'm disappointed in Jim Harbaugh. Yeah. I will say that. I will say that the biggest disappointment is not being prepared. The players, I think, we heard some rumors out of State College, the players are pumped, they're ready. I think they actually were. They fought the whole game. But I like that 4th down by Shea Patterson, all the guys fighting to get him in. I love the fight of this team, right? I really like the fight of this team. So I'm saying no right now. I come away from this game with more positives than negatives. I really do. But let's take a look at this one, Tom. Will Michigan beat Notre Dame? You'll be there next week. I'll be there next week. Type yes if you're going to be type ND, Michigan ND. Let us know if you're going to be there. Maybe we can meet up. But I want to ask you this question, T. Will Michigan beat Notre Dame next week? Put your cards on the table. Answer for me right now. I have my much more confidence in that game than I did going into Penn State. Yeah. Like many people, like many of our viewers, James, I saw things I liked today.
Yep.
I think the things that went wrong are fixable, and I absolutely believe that we can beat Notre Dame next week at home.
Yeah, and if you want to go to the game and you don't have tickets yet, here's what you need to do to get some tickets. You need to put some cash down with our partner, BetDSI, and put some money on college football games, the late-night games tonight. Put some money on the NFL tomorrow. and maybe you can win yourself a couple $100, but you can definitely do it starting off in the green by getting some promo cash with BetDSI. If you're going to make a deposit, if you're going to bet sports, boot with BetDSI, promo code GoBlue, 120% deposit bonus. Put down 100, you got 120 extra sitting there in your account to bet on sports. Maybe you win 5-10 games, whatever it is, you're going to the Michigan Notre Dame game under the lights next week. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code GoBlue. We got 10 mil suckets. What is the point to the rest of the season? And do you think this is more likely Harbaugh walks away at the end of the season? Look, everybody knows that I'm a negative guy when it comes to Michigan underperforming, and I have high expectations for this team, and I didn't expect a win tonight, but I was hopeful that, when everybody's down on you, sometime when it's darkest before it's light, isn't that what they say? And sometimes I thought maybe the darkest point was Wisconsin, and all of a sudden we're going to be in the light now, and it's going to start getting up there. But they still lost this game. Jim Harbaugh loses again on the road in a game they dominate in all statistical categories, including time of possession, and they still lose. So what's going to change? But what's the point of the rest of the season to you?
Well, James, it's we play it out. We can beat Ohio State. We saw what happened to Wisconsin.
Get the hell out of here. Dylan, cut his mic off. Who the fuck is this guy? Get out of here. Beat Ohio State. That's crazy. Beat Notre Dame, maybe. Beat Ohio State, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think you're talking crazy.
James, I don't know if you were watching today, but an Illinois team that is very inept beat a powerhouse Wisconsin team that may beat Ohio State next week. On any given Saturday, James, after watching this game for many, many years.
Yeah.
And, again, at home, build confidence. We did things today to give those players confidence that they can execute these big plays. What we need to – so we executed. We moved the ball. We had time of possession. We stopped the other team. We need to make the big plays and stop the mistakes, and we're a top 10 football team, maybe a top 8 or top 6 football team.
Yeah, I think you might be right, but we'll see what happens. But Michigan loses 28-21 to Penn State. We're taking your questions live here on YouTube and live here on Facebook Live. We got more segments coming up, grades, our instant reactions, and some Michigan football true and false. Hey there, Michigan football fans. Thanks so much for watching the Michigan Football Report. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We've got Michigan football news, rumors, recruiting information, and inside access to the Michigan football program. You ready for another Michigan football video? I got you hooked up right here. Go Blue.